Allow me to introduce our guest who are already here in the studio to weigh in on this and other stories as well. We have with us Professor Noah Midamba, who is an expert on defense and foreign policy. Also, he is a Vice Chancellor of KCA University. Also, we do have with us Dr. Machira, a criminologist from Edgerton University. We have with us Captain Collins Wanderi, who's an advocate of the High Court and also a security analyst here on AM Live. Also, we have with us Dr. Mustafa Yusuf Ali, who is a conflict and resolution expert and also national security expert as well. Also, we have with us Dr. Captain Werunga Simiyu, who is the Director General of African Security Institute and Strategy. And of course, we shall be drilling deeper on a raft of other issues as well. Remember, you can chime in, hit us on Twitter. AM Live NTV is a Twitter handle. AM Live NTV is a profile name on Facebook, and 20505 our SMS portal. Right, let's begin with you, Captain Wanderi, in this regard, where we see, of course, there's a lot of altercation, or so to speak, verbal exchanges between some of civil society and the preparedness of IEBC. Are we going to have an election come the 8th of August?
Debarl, that's a tough one, but let's dissect what has been happening to IEBC since 2016, after the change of commissioners. First, we had a situation where part of the political class felt that the then IEBC, as was then constituted, was not an impartial arbitrator or an impartial umpire in the elections for this year. Since then, since the change of personnel and the new commissioners and a chairman, what has been happening in this country is suit after suit against IEBC in terms of either its own implementation of the of the electoral preparedness in terms of the electoral process towards the election, or in terms of whether it is whatever it is doing is credible. Now, there has been close to about 40 cases against IEBC, and the judges have delivered various rulings. But if you look at the rulings that have been delivered and the thrust of the argument by either the civil society or other interested parties as well as political parties, you get one thing. It's almost a foregone conclusion that, one, we may not have elections on the 8th of August. Two, if we have elections on the 8th of August, then they will be the most shambolic since independence, because IEBC will not be ready. Because we are not just talking about having elections and having a day. Right now, yesterday, IEBC tweeted that it was receiving election materials for governors and women rep. Those are seats where there haven't been a lot of contestations in court over candidature. Now, the others, we still have other 4 elections, because there are 6 elections in one day. So those 4 elections, when will the materials be delivered? Very close to the election. We haven't even had the printing of the presidential ballot. Now, this election day is fixed, is cast in stone on the 8th. But that means before the 8th, you have to ensure logistics, movement of these materials to the various stations, security of these materials, and as long as you do not have them. And IEBC, I am sorry to say this, hasn't been very forthright, and it doesn't inspire confidence. When you listen to the chairman and you listen to the CEO, you don't get confident that these people are ready and that they will conduct a credible election. Instead of having an election that will cause us the problems we had in 2007, and with all the arguments and the counter arguments and new and fresh applications against IEBC in court, and knowing the way the judges have been ruling against this electoral body, my submission, and that's my personal opinion, is that I do not see the possibility of an election happening on 8th, and if it happens, then it will not be a good thing for Kenya. All right. Let's hear from Dr. Mustafa Yusuf Ali.
Yeah, Debarl, good morning, everybody. Yeah, first of all, let me just say this, that I think elections are going to take place on the 8th. I see a very peaceful elections, or rather voting process on 8th. Problems might start on the 9th, when some ethnic entrepreneurs will have seen that they have lost the elections. And after investing so much money, they are not going to recoup that money. And they might try to whip up the emotions of Kenyans to reject the results that are going to be announced by the IEBC. And I say the elections is going to happen on the 7th, of course with proviso that IEBC is supported by the various political actors. Mm-hmm. Today, Debarl, if you see, look, and analyze what politicians are saying about IEBC, you might start wondering whether those same politicians are actually running for these elections. And that's where the problem is. Some politicians are undermining IEBC to such an extent that, and I don't blame my friend Captain Wanderi for actually doubting whether elections is going to take place.
Yes.
He is within, if you are to follow what the political leaders are saying, and of course some other issues within IEBC, you might be tempted to think that elections are not going to take place. And the political class, the political leaders, the same political leaders that put the same IEBC in place are so busy from every day from 8 a.m. to midnight when they're going to sleep, undermining this IEBC. And we also need to remind them that they are competitors. They are going to play the game. Let the umpire do what they're supposed to do. And it is only in Kenya where we are hearing from politicians, oh, IEBC this, IEBC that. You know, in other countries like UK, even in third world countries, they can declare elections in a month's time and they're going to deliver that election if politicians are going to behave. The political leaders are misbehaving in this country, and I hope Kenyans are seeing that and are going to teach them a lesson.
All right, let's hear from Dr. Werunga.
I think I want to differ with these two friends of mine. One, the fact that Kenyans are taking IEBC to court on very pertinent issues shows that most of these things that Kenyans are now asking IEBC to do, they never used to do them, which are part and parcel of electioneering process. I don't think Kenyans are taking IEBC to court because they want the elections to be postponed. I think the question we need to ask ourselves, is it coming too late so that probably IEBC is being distracted? But most of the things, what I read, I'm not a lawyer, but you realize everything that has been taken to court falls within the law. And therefore, the Kenyans are asking, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you giving us a register? Why aren't you releasing this? The law says you must give us results within this time frame. I think, to me, this is the realization in the country that Kenyans are waking up. Kenyans want very credible, fair, and peaceful elections, and that can only be done if IEBC, I think they've been in slumber for some time, and I don't think Kenyans are fighting IEBC. Kenyans are fighting for the rule of law to prevail. Kenyans are fighting to see that what the law says about the electioneering process in this country is followed to the latter. Most of the things that people are arguing about are not outside the law. What they're only asking is the IEBC to do what is expected to do. Maybe in these other elections, Kenyans never took them serious, and this is the time Kenyans are coming up and saying, wait a minute, this is what IEBC is supposed to do. And therefore, if they don't want to do, because we are asking them without going to court, they've refused to do this, so let's take this to the arbiter. And the arbiter are the courts. I don't think we are going to postpone these elections. But my take, and this is my view, is that whatever we are seeing of all these cases Kenyans are talking about, there's nothing, Debarl, outside the law that Kenyans are not asking IEBC to do. And why do you take them to court? Because voluntarily they are supposed to do what they are being asked to do, but they're not doing it. So Kenyans are going to court. Mm. And therefore, to me, it's a wake-up call, even to IEBC, even as they stumble and do what, as far as we are concerned, the elections must be held on 8th. But IEBC must also play its role within the law. And what people are asking is just what IEBC should have done because it is within their framework of managing elections in this country to ensure that this electoral process is within the law, is transparent, is credible, and is fair to every participant. So to me, I think let the courts determine. But we are going to have our elections, hopefully, without changing, because we can't change unless we declare an emergency. Our elections will be held on 8th of next month.
All right. Do you hold with that view, Dr. Apollos?
I shudder to imagine that we shall not have elections on 8th of August, because governors, senators, parliamentarians are already handing over. So there will be nobody in the office to run the state. And we out there in the villages are prepared for 8th of August. If we are told it will not take place, there will be a lot of intrapersonal conflict throughout Kenya. So what I would like IEBC to do is to keep on updating us on what is going on, because these people are keeping us in darkness. We still do not know anything about voter education, which is crucial now. We do not know how many agents will be in the polling station, in a polling stream, because with all these candidates who are aspirants in a certain polling station, we do not know how many other people will be in there. Because if everybody will be there, then that will not, that will be a marketplace. But I understand they are making arrangements that if you are independent, you only have one agent. If you are Jubilee, you only, but they have not told us. Why are they not talking? This man, this chairman is not telling us a lot of things. Then when it comes to these elections, people going to court, we need to ask ourselves, who is taking IEBC to court? Is the person taking IEBC to court genuine? Or do they have any other ulterior motive? Then IEBC, where is the register? Where are the BVC kits? Because if it happens like it happened the other time, then that is a recipe for chaos. I would shudder to think that they may have elections the way we had the Jubilee and the NASA primaries, because they kept on, Rafael Tuju and those people kept on assuring us that we have very credible elections, only to see the worst nomination process I've ever seen in my life. So if IEBC will go that way, then that's a recipe for chaos. So maybe we still have 19 days. 19 days are very few days. So let them start giving us information every day, so that out there in the villages, we can be sure that they are doing something.
Right. Professor Noah Midamba.
Debarl, allow me to take this discussion on a little broader context. Number one, at this point, the data, based on all the information that I got, this election is very tight. And anything, just anything between now and August 8 can tilt it on the other way. NASA is running a very smart campaign at this point. Tom Mboya, I think one of the smartest political strategists that there is in Kenya, said it takes 2 + 1 to win election in Kenya. We are a tribal, we continue to be, and that is not going to change today and will not change tomorrow. So here's my point. NASA has kept all parties intact. They did not dissolve their party. They're raiding right now on Uhuru and Ruto's backyard. They have much more stronger coalition in the Western than historically been seen, together with, of course, Nyanza and Eastern. The lawyer community for the first time are together. They're gaining both in Kajiado and the northeastern area. Ngilu and Kalonzo are working together for the first time. And strategically, they are listening to what Kenyans are saying about IEBC and the role it has played in the past. And therefore, these court cases are not just by chance. These are very strategic focus to make sure they unearth all the questions that Kenya people are asking. And like my colleague Apollo here raised, IBC is not doing Kenya any justice by not getting on a daily report, keeping Kenya intact in terms of what has transpired and what need to go. Now let me go on Jubilee side. Jubilee made the first mistake by dissolving the parties. The parties, people resonate with the party.
Yes.
And by the time they dissolved it, they created an outfit which is an abstract from the local grassroots level. They're running 2013, driven by ICC campaign. They are isolated Governor Ruto, a big mistake for Nandi people. And they are running 2 races, 2017 and 2020. Now, which is which?
2022.
2022, which is which? And they have lost some appetite. You know, some very strong people like Wanderi and Machira. And I think it is wrong. It is wrong for the president to directly engage governors. The president needs to be above the fray. He needs to focus on his major opponent, which is Raila Odinga, and not Njoho. And I think that made Njoho the kingpin of Mombasa, and now there is another governor also, which is arising. So when you put those 2 and 2 together, NASA right now has the upper hand, but it is very, very close, and anything can happen between now and August 8.
All right, thank you.